Good morning. Good morning. Gonna wait just a little bit, while people join. Hello. I'm kind of getting situated. I've had like a really busy morning. Like a really busy morning. And it was unexpectedly busy too. That was I guess the clincher and everything. So anyway, I'm here. I'm on time. And if you are watching the playback, welcome. My name is Tracie. I'm the CEO and the founder of the National Black Doulas Association. And this is where we join together weekly to discuss all of the happenings in the birth world and also to just share information, give information, and make sure that we are in a place of knowing all the time. Yeah, hold on just a second. I need to send a quick text. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, almost done. All right. Okay. So anyway, what I wanted to talk today about was like the state of doula work in this current climate as far as what's going on, people getting trained in relation to the people who are actually doing the work, and for the people who are doing the work, what it is they are seeing and they are facing in this climate. Now, I will say this sensitive climate has been going on since COVID started. So we really started to see the shift happen in March of 2020, and it could just continue to escalate. And the state of doula work changed, obviously, with COVID happening. And now what we're seeing are not necessarily the remnants. We still see a lot of the COVID restrictions in hospital settings, but now what we're seeing are doulas are having a hard time getting clientele. They are not understanding how to connect with the general public. There are a lot of doulas who are people who are still getting trained in the field of becoming a doula and being able to support birthing people. And now let me just give just a clear definition of what a doula is and how they work. So a doula is a person who is trained to support birthing people and postpartum people, and now miscarriage, stillbirth, and abortion, and also bereavement and sexuality, and also fertility. So those are the different areas where doula work is focused on. But essentially, it is somebody who is trained to give informational, physical, and emotional support. Okay. And oftentimes the number one question that we get asked is what's the difference between a doula and the midwife? Well, the midwife, the easiest way that I can put it is the midwife does everything medical, and the doula does everything that allows the family to prepare. They are that liaison between their birthing professional, I'm sorry, their medical practitioner, which could be a doctor or a midwife, and they help them structure, outline, and also know what to expect in the course of having their baby, getting pregnant, having their baby, and then postpartum. And so, in relation to what is happening now, we see, at least for me, what keeps coming back to me is because I'm retired, I don't work directly with birthing people anymore. Um, is that people are having a more difficult time with being able to have access to doulas. Now, what does that mean? It means that they are not able to necessarily afford doulas, or don't know how to access the proper doula. So, of course, like for us, you can go to blackdoulas.org and you will be able to gain information as far as how do I find a doula, because we have, a national, actually international database of Black and BIPOC doulas in the world now. But what we're also seeing is that the ability to pay. So what's happening now, so you guys are aware, if you have not heard already, now companies are instituting doula services into their employee benefits package. So if they become pregnant and need support, your employer will pay, depending upon the company, if they have this as an option, will pay for a doula up to a certain amount. Okay. And currently what I push for is a base minimum of $1,500 for that birthing professional to be able to be compensated for the services. And then anything extra, then the birthing family would be supported with. Secondly, Medicaid, also other insurance providers are now looking at how do we incorporate doula services. The issue with that is the lower compensation rate for the doula. So some I've heard as low as $400, and people who are in this work understand that that is not enough. It's not even a livable wage, that, but not enough to be able to support somebody when you are offering prenatal support, the birth itself, and postpartum support. And the birth itself can be anywhere from 24 hours or longer. So when we start breaking that down to an hourly wage, obviously that is nowhere near enough. But I will say this, we are seeing more and more people being, not sorry, insurance companies taking a listen, taking a stand. How do we implement this? They understand that when you bring a doula into the birth scenario, that it saves insurance company. I'm sorry, that we see a 25% overall approval or satisfactory rate from the families from having experienced a doula in their birth. And obviously, it lowers C-sections. It lowers all these other medical interventions that take place by just simply having a doula present. And what ends up happening then is that insurance companies save money. So they see this, they know this, and now they are beginning finally to institute some policies into the equation to be able to add doula as a care provider. So when people come to us and they say, well, how do I get clients? Are you guys going to help me get clients? I often go back to the state of saying, like, you cannot rely on once you take your training that all of a sudden clients are going to fall into your lap. It does not work like that. We have to put ourselves out there. Old school networking never goes out of style. So how do we begin to institute in a world of social media old school networking? What do I mean by that? Like, Tracie, what does that mean? It means getting your business materials together. You can create business cards, you can create pamphlets, you can go knock on doors and say, hey, on for other providers who support the like kind demographic that you are looking to support, doctors' offices, midwifery clinics. You can go to chiropractors who support birthing people. You can go to acupuncturists who support birthing people, massage therapists who support birthing people, lactation consultants who support birthing people. Like all of those other providers support the like kind demographic, and begin to introduce yourself. Put yourself out there, get it known as far as what you do and how you can be of support to that particular person or provider, with the kind of work that you do. So that way, in number one, you are able to begin to grow your professional Rolodex, that I like to call, that you can tap into. You can also be able to, refer clients to one another. So we want to go back to the old school ways of networking. We have to begin to put ourselves out there. We have to begin to not rely solely on our websites and social media posts or reels to drive clientele to us. Now, also know this: people who may not be pregnant, could be considering becoming pregnant, are already shopping for doulas. They can also be in a state of struggling with fertility and they want somebody to support them through the process. Like, I was watching Brad and Judy over the week. I think it was over the weekend, we watched the playback, and they're in the process of preparing to become pregnant. So it's like they need that. Not only do they need the fertility support because they're going through the fertility process, but then when one of them becomes pregnant, then having that same person hopefully be able to carry those services over into the birthing realm and then into the postpartum side. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? So it's like introducing yourself to fertility clinics and providers, like, oh, go and like knock on your door and leave some information and say this is how, or offer to do what we call a lunch and learn for the staff. And I'm gonna tell you a little trick. No matter if it's like somebody who is working with birthing people on the front end or the back end or during the birth process, they all love gifts and snacks. So if you leave like a gift basket that they can munch on, or not just your card, but like say, you guys, thank you so much for what you do, thank you for your referrals, but here's my thank you and more of my information, so you guys can begin to, number one, they can put a face to a name, and then they're in contact with birthing people every day. So I want to begin to encourage us to go back to the old school ways. Like, that's what I did. And then please don't negate aligning yourself with people who are actually doing a lot of work or a lot of business in your respective region or and field. And what do I mean by this? The surefire way that I believe, as far as getting your name out there, knowing what's going on, paying attention to who the providers are, what doctors and midwives and hospitals are doing at any given time, because those policies always change, is connecting yourself with somebody who is steadily busy. So this is going to require some networking on your part, but really, really busy, and offer to take them out for coffee or tea. And or maybe if they're not comfortable or too busy, offering to do a Zoom meeting with them, like coffee over Zoom together, and then like start offering, like let them know what it is that you do, and your process as far as where you're at, and just say, you know what, if you are ever too busy and need backup doula services, I am here for you should you ever need me. And they may not call you right away, but trust and believe they will call you. So I want us to begin to not only just rely on our website or a social media post. I really want us to get back into engaging with one another and building resources and building community and making sure that we are doing our due diligence on our part to begin to change the state of doula work in this sensitive climate. Um, Being a doula is hard work, and it's often underestimated work, and it's not where you will see instant reward. Okay. So I want us to always make sure that in this particular climate that we are treating our respective peers well. And it doesn't matter how anybody moves. We can't even be responsible for what other people are doing or saying or how they move. You just want to make sure that you are aligning yourself ethically and that you have exemplary customer service, because that's another thing that has gone out of style, is great customer service. I don't know where I don't know where and why, but people are angry, people are tired, people are frustrated. So as a result of that, people who if you are in a service industry, you want to make sure that you stand out above and beyond by responding to emails in a timely fashion, making sure that your automations are succinct, making sure that you outline all of your policies and procedures either on your website or in an automated email reply, and make sure that you are complying with your own set of rules, not just expecting people to comply with yours, but they see that you are setting the tone and leading by example. Like, this is the structure of my company, this is the structure of my practice and business, and I would love to work with you, and then outline all of what that means. Also, know where you stand in relation to COVID. What does that mean, Tracie? It's like COVID has really changed the game. Just in general, it's just changed the way of life. But know where you stand when it comes to COVID. Make sure you have that relevant information on the first page of your website. And then you can even go as far as like getting COVID certified. So you have the necessary information and the precautions that you take, and also the precautions that you require your clientele to take as well, just to make sure that all safety and health regulations are maintained. So when people see that on your website, like, oh, okay, so they're doing their part, they're doing their due diligence, I can feel safe with moving forward. They don't necessarily have to ask a lot of questions about you and what your philosophy is around COVID. It's already kind of laid out there. Okay. You see, I'm not speaking about the vaccine because, there's a lot of mixed information as far as, people who require it, people who don't, all of that. However, if you are aligning yourself with a hospital and you are becoming one of their preferred providers, then know that that is going to possibly be one of the requirements that they are going to ask for in signing up with said facility. Okay. Um, Secondly, I want to talk about in relation to COVID is I'm not COVID. What to have on your website if you are serving the LGBTQIA community. Make sure that your verbiage is speaking to that. Make sure that your website is lending to your target demographic or demographics that you are open to supporting. All of that is relevant, especially in these times when we're seeing more people who are able to birth babies. So we want to make sure like you are putting yourself out there in that regard, connecting yourself with the LGBTQIA community resources that are out there, the parent resources that are in your community. Go to the meetings, let people know what it is that you do. We have, like I said earlier, have got to move away from the post, the social media relying, on the reels. Our website is up. Oftentimes people will come to the NBDA and like, well, how many clients are you guys going to send me? And it's an honest question, but honestly, we can't even answer that question. But what I will say is our database is heavily searched, and it's not only heavily searched by other providers, but it's also obviously searched by parents who are birthing, potentially birthing, and then major media outlets are always combing. And I will take it even further. One of our doulas received a state grant because they found her in the particular state that they were in, and she was able to work with a provider who was looking to give a state grant, and she was able to do that, and so it is heavily combed and searched for that. And now what I will say is people are looking for more Black and brown doulas. They are. And it does not just lend to Black and brown birthing people. I've heard, people who are like, or white folks, they're like, we want to work with you because you were listed with the NBDA. So I want to make sure that you guys are dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and that you are steadfast when it comes to putting yourself out there, when it comes to doing the actual work that it takes to maintain relevant in your field. Another thing that I want to caution you guys against is how you treat each other. Man, um, it really pains me to say that some things that come across my desk, or some of the things that I hear, or even sometimes the personal treatment that I receive, honestly, for reasons that are beyond me, it's just like people are angry, people are tired, people are not operating in the most ethical way. Don't be one of those people. Okay, you always want to make sure that energetically your work and your frequency is clean and clear. If you are having an issue with somebody, be, woman enough to either, or person enough, whatever, to either distance yourself from them because you can't, or go become introspective. Say, is it me? Am I doing something? What could I be doing better? What could I learn from them? I know sometimes I will feel intimidated. Even me, I will feel intimidated by certain Black women who are not in this particular field, but in other fields that I just in their way of moving. And I'd be like, what? Okay, well, Tracie, it's definitely you. So what are you projecting? What can you address? So that way I'm checking myself first versus projecting on others. And unfortunately, in this particular work, people get into cliques And we want to caution ourselves not to become that. And they do unto others what they don't like done unto them, as far as, having negative energy. I'm just going to leave it at that, and you can fill in a blank. But whatever that negative energy is, you just want to make sure that you are not putting yourself out there or aligning yourself that way, because trust and believe, when I say it will show up, and it will show up in ways that you will not imagine. It'll show up in your clientele, as far as the amount of clients that are it just energetically, it just penetrates in ways. It can show up in your bank account, it can show up in your health, it can show up in your mental and emotional wellness, and you don't want to align yourself that way. Make sure that you are always putting good energy out, so you will always get good energy back. Now I will talk about social media. Be consistent and in this sensitive time in the state of doula work, when people are very, very skeptical about how they spend their dollars, is it worth it? Is it an investment? We all know that doula work is an investment. We understand it's an investment into health and wellness, but we want to make sure that you are putting yourself and letting people know, yes, you have this presence there too, because your website, and then people are going to go on your social media, and don't think they won't go on your personal social media too. They want to know who they are inviting into their sacred space when they are having their baby. Who are they inviting into their home? How does this person walk the walk that they are talking? So you want to make sure that you are doing your part from a public standpoint. What you are doing and putting out there is an alignment, because you want to make sure, if you are working with the public, if you are generating clientele, that you are what you say you are. In a world of falsified information, in a world of falsified content and inauthenticity, there's a lot of that out there. Don't you be one of them. Okay? Don't you be one of them. And now, for people who are interested in getting on the ground from a legal perspective, know what's going on with your state in reference to being on committees, getting your name out there. Like, I know for me, we get a lot of requests for me to join these either boards or be present for this protest, or Tracie, what do you think about this? Or it's so much that I actually have my team, funnel them out for me, because I can't, number one, do everything. Now, once we funnel it out as far as, okay, this is how being an NBDA member, one of the benefits and perks is that once we funnel it out, we've done our due diligence in vetting them. Like, we've done our research on this particular person, company, committee. We've done our research. Then it would be like, okay, Tracie, can you do it? Or do you need somebody else within the NBDA infrastructure to handle this? And honestly, you guys, oftentimes, I will say at least 50% of the time, I'll pass it off to other members of the NBDA. I will, because number one, I can't do everything. And also, I know I don't know everything. And so there will be people, like, just naming a few off the top of my head. Well, probably I've handed stuff off to Michelle, I've handed stuff off to Ashley, I've handed stuff off to Brandy, I've handed stuff off to Anya, I've handed stuff off to Ray. These are just 5 off the top of my head. And these are either organizations, these are major media outlets, these are, other publications, podcasts, whatever it is, as long as we've done our due diligence and vetting them out. What is their intention once they receive, or we connect them with our resources and information? What's their intention? What are they going to be doing with it? Once we've done our part, then I have to say, Tracie, can you do this? If not, who is going to be the best fit for this? So as you guys can see, since from the beginning of this live, it's like, how am I doing my part? And initially, when I decided to do this live, I was like, okay, I'm going to title it Purpose and Passion, because I'm always talking about it. And when people really understand the difference between passion, because passion is based off of emotions, and emotions come and go. But when it's your purpose, it becomes your mission to complete this and to fulfill this. So in your way of purpose and passion, it is like once you differentiate between that, then you have to make sure that you are doing your part to align yourself with either said companies or industries or individuals, or to get your name out there. You are connecting with your community members, your peers, and other practitioners in the area. Once you find somebody who's doing amazing work, and especially if you're just getting started in this work, you want to also make sure that you are, offering backup doula services if you feel comfortable. One thing that I did not mention was making sure that you are contractually protected. So make sure your contracts are in order. I'm going to put in the description of the live, I'll make sure that I list our doula doc resources that we have. We have birth doula agreements. We have postpartum doula agreements. We have backup doula agreements. We have all of those who, our legal team handles. Like, they handle it, they look over it, they give all right, and we make sure that we are in compliance so you guys are protected. So all of those things set you up for success. And not only are you in the way and in the pathway of being set up for success, then you are also like positioning yourself and becoming a resource for your community. I always preach and teach, you have to be a staple in your community. You have to be a pillar. And when you are moving in purpose, that's a hard thing to consistently do, is to consistently put yourself out there even when you don't feel like it. For me, I created the NBDA because I knew the Black maternal death rate and morbidity rate in this country. I was like, some, I don't know what. And I literally said that. I don't know what. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I don't know what the hell, but I gotta do something. The something turned into the National Black Doulas Association, which was initially a database where Black and Brown doulas can list their services, and they also can help, it can also parallel with Black and Brown birthing people being able to find them, because representation matters, culture matters, someone being able to relate and feel comfortable, because we understand that Black and Brown people do not find doulas for, oh, this is just what you do, this is a status symbol. No, we want to make sure that you live. They want to make sure that they live. That is why they hire doulas. But they also want to make sure that the person that they hire not only is experienced and dedicated, but that they know the facility that they are working in. They know the practitioner or the provider. From, one of the things, because I positioned myself that way during my career, was that I had doctors who were sending me referrals long after I retired. I was like, y'all, I can't, I'm not practicing anymore. And so you want to make sure that you are doing like amazing work. Another trick that I didn't mention too is like when you work with people and you are making great connections, you're making great great professional connections when you are working with your clients, carry your cards on you. Carry your business cards on you, because they're going to ask. Nurses are going to ask, oh my God, you were amazing. Do you have any information? Doctors, they're not going to ask, but I will say this. You can send that doctor a follow-up gift, that doctor's office, and say, thank you so much. It was great working with you. Here are my cards, just in case you want to continue to work together. And you send their staff just like a gift basket that they can munch on and eat on, that they can all benefit from. When I tell you, that will be a direct, client referral system working for you, because you have already put the elements in place to constantly be able to be supportive to the demographic. You're working in the hospital, you're working with a familiar staff or birthing team, and the doctor's patients feel comfortable because their doctor referred you. Same thing goes when you work with midwives. So in this sensitive climate, I want you guys to begin to get out of, like I said earlier, what is happening, social media, just relying on one way of generating clientele, but really begin to open yourself up more. People want that interpersonal connection. They want to know, who are you? Like, who are you? Like, why should I trust you? And so you want to make sure that you are the one that they can trust. And then once they have come to you requesting to meet with you, you want to make sure on your end that you have a well fine-tuned machine. You not only are replying to emails in a timely fashion, but you're also supplying relevant information, and you are holding up to your end of the bargain. And not only are you doing that, but you are blowing their mind with the customer service. You are blowing their mind with the resources that you are offering. You are blowing their mind with the information that you have. Do that. And you want to make sure that wherever they are birthing, that you are COVID-19 compliant within that, because you don't want to support people up until a certain point, and then all of a sudden you find that their birthing facility, you're not COVID-19 compliant. Whatever that compliance may be, you want to make sure that you know what, if there are any changes before they do, so you can inform them as far as how to move. Another thing that you guys want to make sure that you are well versed in, or you have a contact with, is the patient's advocacy. You want to make sure if anything goes wrong with any of your clients, you have a direct contact for that patient's advocate within that facility or within that community. You want to make sure that, because nothing is 100%, nothing is perfect. So just in case things take a left turn, you have a direct contact for the patient's advocate, because it's about creating alliance. It's about, creating resources and support. Okay. And I'll talk further about I think I usually do that in trainings, but really how to layer patient advocacy and how to do it so effectively that even in the moment you won't, or your client will not be denied the service that they're asking, as long as it is justified. Oftentimes people get caught up with how to support somebody from a legal aspect when it comes to dealing in the bureaucracy within hospital settings. You have to understand not only what their rights are, their patients' rights are, but also who the staff is that's on the floor. And you have to be able to know firsthand, and then be able to, even if you're not physically present at the moment, how to support them to move and to navigate within that facility, within that infrastructure. And this is how you get the results that are needed and necessary for your clients. I'm a huge advocate for it. I think if more people, and I'll do next week, I'll do the live on like patient advocacy and how to really support somebody in the moment that needs something done. Okay, so I hope all of this information was helpful to you guys. Please sure to drop your questions, your comments. Please drop them in the chat. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when we go live. And again, my name is Tracie Collins. I'm the CEO and the founder of the National Black Doulas Association of the NBDA. And thank you so much for joining. And if you're just catching, you're going to have to watch the replay. All right. So I'm going to drop all of our information in the description below. And you guys have a good day. All right. Bye.